Today, I want to go over the horrible attacks that happened in Germany in a Christmas market, and specifically who is behind that attack, because it's a very weird story. Now, this only happened yesterday on the 20th of December as people were gathering together to celebrate Christmas and go to the Christmas market. Uh, a guy came and rammed his car into the crowd, killing around 5 people and injuring more than 100 people. And some figures say nearly 200 people. We don't know the exact figures yet. Now, any terrorist attack is horrible, but to have a terrorist attack happen when there's children have one child has died is especially during the time where families are together, they're celebrating, is absolutely horrible. But obviously, this created a cascade of events, which usually happens, and there has been an issue with authorities being upfront about the motives of these terrorist attacks. Usually, especially when they're religious attacks, the authorities refrain from kind of sharing that information in case of uh, counterattacks and people becoming angry. And we saw that with the attacks in the UK, where 3 children died. We didn't know whether that person was Christian or Muslim. It turns out that he was actually, in fact, influenced by radical Islamist ideology. We don't know the facts yet, all for sure, but we know that there was something of that nature. However, this case, I feel, is very odd. Now, who is this person? Well, he is a doctor. He is 50 years old. He comes originally from Saudi Arabia. He went to Germany in 2006. Get this, and he applied for asylum there because he feared for his life for becoming an ex-Muslim, which is punishable by death in a lot of countries in that region. And so he was actually trying to apparently also convert other people to atheism and move away from Islam. He is actually wanted in Saudi Arabia for a lot of these actions. And actually, Saudi Arabia asked the Germans to extradite him to Saudi Arabia, but the German authorities declined that, citing human rights issues. He spends a lot of his time now, aside from being a doctor, actually helping ex-Muslims, mostly women, move away from the Gulf areas in Saudi Arabia to the West because of fear of death. And as I said, leaving Islam in some places is punishable by death. So he works in an organization that actually helps people, especially Saudi Arabians, leave that area. And the good thing with this is that we can actually see his profile about what his ideology is. A lot of people jump straight away because there's a terrorist attack that he's Muslim, and obviously he has a Muslim name, and he is Arab. So what is his ideology? Let's go into that. So the good thing is that we can actually see what he posted. His account is not blocked at the moment on X. His bio already, his name is al-Abdulmohsen, right? His bio is Saudi military opposition. He opposes the Saudi military. Germany chases female Saudi asylum seekers inside and outside Germany to destroy their lives. He's basically saying that the German government or Germany is against female Saudi asylum seekers. I'm not sure why. And then Germany wants to Islamicize Europe with a no sign that shouldn't happen, which is interesting. The first post he's posted over here, great thing we can actually translate this. I will now publish evidence that the German authorities have committed a series of deliberate crimes against Saudi refugees. So he is saying he's going against the German government for committing what he thinks committing crimes against these people. And he goes in details that. But there's some interesting stuff over here. Germany's goal, this is his post, Germany's goal has become clear: to spread Islam in Europe. They are attacking political movements critical of Islam by infiltrating them with corrupt people, including addicts, prostitutes, and thieves, in order to corrupt the movement from within. Then they use the dirtiest methods against those who expose the infiltrators. Since the movement of the former Saudi Muslims was successful, they began to plot against it. So he feels, it's almost crazy stuff. He feels like they're attacking, the Germans are attacking anything to do with anti-Islam or the former Saudi Muslims group. He then goes on to say, and this is only in August 13th, so a couple months ago. Third, the thing I can hardly believe is Germany's recklessness in imagining that committing a series of crimes against the Saudi opposition will pass without accountability. This is actually like a manifesto he's put out there. They think that even if al-Abdulmohsen, which is himself, he's referring to himself in the third person, remains out of prison, al-Abdulmohsen will not bring justice. They think that he will not bring justice. They live in their delusions due to the lack of political experience, so they do not take correct calculations. This is kind of like a threat he is posting out there. Fourth, the crimes committed by the German authorities against Saudi refugees are very dirty and extremely shameless. Whenever we deal with them peacefully, they become more shameless, as if they are deliberately trying to convince us that peace is useless in Germany. All this is because they want to spread Islam through the dirty means that Islam has been based on since its first appearance. That's very negative towards Islam. He is apparently ex-Muslim. So he seems to be saying that the German government has taken a stance to be against these refugees that are coming from Saudi Arabia that are ex-Muslim, just so that it can appease Islam and can spread Islam. He doesn't want these refugees that are ex-Muslim to be coming to Germany. And he feels like they're being infiltrated, his group, by the German government to break it down. Does sound crazy to me? Yes, 100%. Does he sound ex-Muslim? I think so. Now, what does he share? He shares these evidence of how or why the government is being, he's thinking that the government's attacking him. I'm not going to go through that. You can go through his profile and see this. But there's some interesting stuff that he shares. So he shares this post, which is by someone who is very, very anti-Muslim. A Muslim woman is stoned to death by Muslims because she had an affair with a young man outside of marriage. This is Islamic law, and you will see these scenes in the streets of your city very soon if you don't wake up. He reposted that, which is very anti-Islam. Let's see things more. Sweden wants to extradite me to Iraq to carry out the death sentence there, and I will be killed in the most horrific ways. Here he's supporting the Syrians, the secular Syrians, not the Muslim Syrians. Here he posted or reposted something about Israel, whereby he is celebrating the success that Israel has had against Hezbollah and other factions in Syria. So he supports Israel, according to this post. And he reposted, can you find one positive thing about Islam? Again, from a profile that is very, very anti-Muslim. Now, I can show you more and more, but it's very clear that he has a lot of posts that are very anti-Muslim. He then goes to say that I have made a final decision that I will bring justice in 2024. I will not wait any longer, meaning either justice or I die for it this year, meaning either justice of the first kind or justice of the second kind that makes the people who attacked the Saudi refugees pay a very heavy price. It's very clear that he is angry against the German government, and because of their stance against these refugees from Saudi Arabia, and he's angry that he feels they don't care, the German government doesn't care, they only care about spreading Islam and infiltrating these groups that are anti-Muslim, that are pro-bringing ex-Muslims to break them down. Now, a lot of people have been asking, wait, if he's ex-Muslim, why is he attacking a Christmas market where, it's not just Christians that are there, it's everyone that goes to a Christmas market. Why would he attack Muslims if he's anti-Muslim? Well, it seems like this is the reason why he's attacking just random civilians. He wants to make a point to the German government, which he feels is against him. Very crazy stuff going on over here. We then find out that there was actually a Saudi girl who, over here says living in Germany, but that's incorrect. She was actually living in Saudi Arabia, who reported to the German police in September 2023 and October 2023 about the dangers of this man, al-Abdulmohsen, who was planning to run people over with his car. She actually reported this through texts, through emails, but she couldn't get any responses. She got some responses to say, go to the police, but she said, I'm not in the country, but I fear that this person is actually going to attack people. This Saudi girl actually went and told the police, and the police just ignored it completely, right? Which is insane. And then you find out that he was actually in a BBC documentary about his work. Let's watch this.
I'm from Saudi Arabia. I'm an activist. I created a website to help people seeking asylum, especially from Saudi Arabia and the Gulf region. Yeah, I use basically WhatsApp, Twitter, Telegram. If I have time, I spend totally helping Saudi asylum seekers between 10 to 16 hours a day, if I have time. The only Arab country from which I did not have an ex-Muslim seeking help until now from me is Oman. 90% of people who approach me are women between 18 and 30 years old.
I wasn't allowed out like with friends. I was forced to wear hijab. I obviously took it off when I went to school because I didn't like it. Most of the girls in school didn't wear it. And I enjoyed fasting because other people around me did it, but I was forced into that too. And as I got older, I hated it. There's a lot of group chats I'm actually in that have ex-Muslims in them, and like it's very nice to talk to someone with the same.
So there are two realities that I see based on the information that we have right now. Either he was lying about being an ex-Muslim just so that he can get that asylum into Germany, because it's easier to get an asylum if you say you're threatened back home because of your religious ideologies. However, and then he actually was Muslim and carried out these Islamist attacks. However, why would he carry on helping more ex-Muslim women come into Europe? Why would he keep on this kind of charade of being anti-Muslim? Because the authorities don't check up on you to say, have you posted anti-Muslim stuff to show that you are anti-Muslim? They once they give you asylum, they give you asylum. So that logic doesn't really make sense. The other angle is that he is ex-Muslim, and however, he's anti-German because of Germany's stance, as he puts it, towards Saudi refugees and German stance against anti-Muslim groups. Which is probably why he didn't attack Muslims. He just attacked random civilians because he wanted to really kind of hit the government hard. And in fact, it has been shown that he is a supporter of the AFD, which is an anti-immigrant kind of political group. And so this attack obviously helps any group that is anti-immigrant, anti kind of refugee. I'm not saying that's bad or good. I'm just saying that is kind of the situation of what possibly has happened, that he is anti-current government, German government, because of their stance against these refugees and his stance against Islamization of Europe. He wants to change the government, so he created an attack where he killed random civilian people, makes people angry, pushes people more towards choosing these groups that are anti-immigrant, could be said anti-Islam, which he actually is a supporter of those groups, as was shown in a number of his posts. It does seem a bit kind of conspiracy, but based on what he has posted, it makes sense. Some people are saying that he posted these things because he wanted to lie, and this is part of Islamists' kind of ideology or strategies to kind of lie to non-believers because it's allowed in the religion, but that doesn't achieve anything. I get maybe the lying of getting into the country and getting asylum, but then lying for what purpose doesn't make any sense. Usually, Islamists who attack civilians based on their ideology want to put out there that I am doing this for my religion, because they'd be proud of attacking non-believers. And so he wouldn't hide that fact once he committed the act. So that doesn't make any sense. I actually do believe that it's very likely to be the second scenario where he's anti-government, given that's what he said, and then carried out the attacks that he said he was going to carry out. And really, this is a failure of the German government for allowing this to happen. Not only did he kind of put a lot of these posts online, there was a Saudi actual person who contacted the police numbers of times to notify them that she believes he is going to carry attacks, and they did. It seems like they did nothing. We'll find out more with time. If you like this video, subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you very much.